here?
I'm
Sean
in real
is an
estate,
agent,
so yes,
and I'm a
I'm
lender.
constantly dealing with disasters. Yes.
Yeah. I love real estate people. You guys are really good at pivoting. You're really good at going, well, that didn't work. That's fine. And I'm
Have
like,
to.
yeah.
Have
And
to.
we're live.
Otherwise, nothing. Oh, what? It works.
Yeah, I mean, keep talking. There's always this period where we're waiting for people to get on.
You did.
Continue the conversation. We're good.
No, we're good.
All right.
All right. Well, we're up and running, guys, on Whiskey and Wisdom, episode 6. As always, we got Mike Soilet with Fairway Mortgage, myself, Sean Hayes, with Coldwell Banker Premier. And today we are lucky enough to have Sloan Coleman with Tiny Little Monster join us. Before we jumped on here, we were having a very interesting discussion about the different types of whiskeys and where we use stuff and where we don't use stuff. Sloan, you were saying you felt a little bit healthier.
Oh, sure. So I'll do like a blue sky, like a diet blue sky with my Evan Williams, just because I'm not going to use my good stuff for a mixer. And I don't know where that comes from because it's just basically Diet Coke, but it's relabeled as natural.
So I've got to say that I also have mixing whiskeys, sipping whiskeys. I also have company whiskey, which is the whiskey that I bring out for a company that doesn't know anything about whiskey that I don't want to use my good stuff on.
Oh, yeah, good.
Is that
the
wrong?
ones that you're like, I don't really like. And then my friend posted a thing called Infinity Whiskey, which is just the remnants of whatever whiskey you have. You just pour into a bottle that's unlabeled. And I was like, Infinity Whiskey, yes, I'm going to use that. And he's like, it's kind of a mix of like shit whiskey and good whiskey. Because it's whenever you just have a little bit, you just put it in the Infinity Whiskey, and it's a fun time.
Well, what are you drinking right now?
So, I just finished Evan Williams Green Top in the plastic bottle because I'm a thrifty person. But then I also am a spender, so I had it with the Blue Sky Diet Cola because I'm trying to watch my waistline. Because despite me looking like I'm 22, okay, maybe 30, I will be 40 in the fall.
Hey, congrats. That's a big milestone.
So Facebook recently ranked my age as 18 face, 25 body, and something else. It was a picture from 10 years ago, but I've been feeling younger after COVID. I don't know. I think I'm going through something. So now I'm going to go with the good stuff. Basil Hayden's actual bourbon from Kentucky. So we're going to go in the Four Roses with 2. I'll go a little bit more because this is going to be a fun episode. Feels like a Friday. It's a Tuesday. There goes that.
That is helpful. Well, whatever it is you're going through, we're happy you're here going through it with us.
Yeah.
I've got the Bellamide today. Can you guys see this? So this is a this is a really good whiskey. And Sloan, as you were talking about different price ranges, this is what I would call an inexpensive one, less than $30 a bottle. And for me, it's one of my go-to less than $30 bottle whiskeys. I think it's highly underrated. Was really happy to find this one, and I love it.
So when
Sean, what do you got?
Oh yeah, go for it, Sean.
Oh,
what you got.
Well, and a little bit of honor because it's been a long time since we were together. Last time we got to go out in public, you and I did, Mike, together. We've got the Santori today because Takashimi Records was our last event out before we all got shut down. So going to do that one today.
Nice.
That was a good time. Sloan, you're going to have to go there with us sometime. That's a cool place.
That looks pretty like unique and cool and very exotic. Where's that one from?
It's a Japanese whiskey, actually. And so Takashimi Records, if you're not familiar with it, is a new place that was opened up in the Grove by the owners of Soul Taco. And it's a Japanese vinyl bar. So there's like 15,000 vinyl records on the wall down there. And it's a Japanese-centric cocktail bar. It's really, really freaking cool.
That sounds absolutely incredible. So I'm a huge fan of local business.
And you don't know this, Sloan, but exotic is actually one of Sean's middle names.
Really?
Sorry.
I would not have pegged
no tigers.
Sean, Joe, exotic.
No tigers.
Hey.
Right on. So I love the Kentucky bourbons. Jen and I, my partner at Tiny Little Monster, we like to go on the bourbon tours. And it's a great time. And we actually got hired by Lux Row last year to do live screen printing. And they make bourbon there. So we got to go on the bourbon tour. It was a fantastic experience. But I pretty much am just like, I'm a bourbon girl. And I do like other whiskeys, but I have to say I'm going for like the smooth. I like it to not burn too much. But, you know, I'm open to like try whatever, really, because I love whiskey. So I was very excited about this podcast.
Yeah, you're in the right place. Yeah. All right, Sean, why don't you formally kick us off here?
All right, guys. As I was saying, Whiskey and Wisdom, episode 6. As always, Mike Soilet with Fairway Mortgage out of Kirkwood. Myself, Sean Hayes with Coldwell Banker Premier, and Sloan Coleman with Tiny Little Monster. We were introduced via Andrew Chow with Farmers Insurance, so we are very grateful to Andrew to making this episode happen today. As always, we're going to kind of kick things off here with a little bit of insights. Mike, what do you got in the mortgage world for us today?
All kinds of chaos, my friend. So the word of the day continues to be, and you're going to get tired of me talking about this at some point, but forbearance. So forbearance is rising towards 10% right now, meaning that 1 out of every 10 outstanding mortgage right now in the country is in forbearance. And so what that means is they're not making payments, and that puts the mortgage industry into a little bit of a tailspin-like cycle. So I've kind of been on that soapbox, letting people know some of the unintended consequences by going into forbearance. Now, again, I will say, if you need to do so, then please do so. But if you don't need to do so, then please do not do so. I read, actually, the MBA came out with a statistic yesterday that credit availability has tightened up 17%. To most people listening, that doesn't mean anything, but take it to mean this, that it basically just got about 20% harder to get a mortgage if you need a mortgage now than it was 60 days ago before the cycle of events started going through. Last time we were together, I was talking about a lifeline that the head of the HFHA, I love saying that acronym, threw out to us that we were all pretty excited about. Well, that turned out to be a dud. Essentially, that lifeline ended up being, hey, and just so you know, one of the issues is that if we do a mortgage and it goes into forbearance, we then cannot do the normal course of action with that mortgage. And it's actually Fannie and Freddie who dictate those terms. And it's Fannie and Freddie that have come out and said, we have to allow people to go into forbearance. So the same entity that's saying, country, go into forbearance, is turning around and telling us, hey, we got a problem. A bunch of people are going into forbearance, which means we can't pay you guys to do mortgages. I'm obviously oversimplifying here. And we're saying, yeah, we know that we have this problem because you basically told everybody to go into forbearance. And they said, don't worry. Basically, if you get a loan that is, and it goes into forbearance, we'll still buy it from you, but we're going to charge you 10 times more than the profit was in that loan to begin with. So as you can imagine, that causes lenders to tighten up. It limits credit availability. And the unfortunate thing is this always comes back to hurting the consumer. So the ask on my end is just to get the message out there that this is just not exactly as simple as it seems, and to reach out with me if you have any more questions. Trying to stay out of the super weeds here, but that is the update for the day. What do you got?
So,
Tom?
Mike, one quick clarification there. When you say 17% and almost 20% harder to get a loan, is that hitting a specific demographic, or is that across the board?
No, that's a really good question. And of course, it always hurts the demographic that you're most worried about being able to make their payments, right? If the issue is, hey, if you don't make your first payment, that's a problem, then of course, when guidelines get tight, it ends up hurting those people that are on paper and financially in a position that it looks like they are at the most risk of not being able to make that first payment. So of course, what are those demographics? Lower income, lower credit scores, fewer reserves. So yes, absolutely. And I think we talked about this offline, that it almost creates a disparate impact situation, which in real estate, you never want to do, which is inadvertently causing a chain of events that ends up impacting, low income, minority families, that kind of thing. And it really is a slippery slope. So I'm hoping it gets fixed pretty soon.
So the basic message here is kind of the same as we always have had throughout this forbearance scenario is if they have questions, reach out, find out what their personal situation is, because it may be different than what they're actually hearing.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, on our side, we're continuing to see things move at a very rapid pace. Instead of sharing kind of general statistics today, give you a more personal experience. I had some clients that I've been working with for a few weeks reach out to me last night, and they had 4 homes that I had shown them via the internet that they wanted to go see. Well, guess what? 3 were under contract in less than 5 days. And that's in the 200 to 250 range. And we're seeing that at pretty much every price range that's sub 700 right now. It is a very, very active market. And, if there's a good home out there and you love it, I guarantee you there's at least 5 other people that love it too. So it's a chance where if you see something hit the market, call your real estate agent, get in there now, because it's going to go, and it's going to go fast.
Just to back that up, I had a client today that got that didn't get an offer accepted because they were only putting a 10% down payment, and the other guy can put 20% down. That's where we are in terms of inventory right now. And Sloan, what we're talking about is one of the persistent problems in real estate has been a lack of inventory. There are many more people that want to buy houses than want to sell right now, and so that's a struggle for buyers. And everybody thought that would stop with this whole COVID situation, but it hasn't, because disproportionately more people have not wanted to sell than have not wanted to buy. So it's only exacerbated the issue.
Right. And you guys don't know this, but I myself am looking to buy a house that my neighbor owns that is just like my house in Maplewood, because I think my partner will want to divorce me and I will need to have a home. And if they don't divorce me, then it is a wonderful rental property, because I live in a 2-bedroom bungalow in Maplewood, and it's the best freaking neighborhood, especially for people that do not have children by choice. I love it. It's very walkable. It feels very like Pacific Northwest to me. I spent some time in Seattle, and compared to what you can get in Seattle, for $160,000, you can have a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom bungalow with original wood floors and a charming little nook outside, and it's great. So my neighbor's selling it as is. I had my friend Mark, who's a home inspector. I said, Mark, I want to buy this house, and if I don't buy this house, my friend will buy this house, and I know you love doing favors for cute girls. Will you come and do a home inspection for t-shirt trade? And he said, I hate that you called me out on that, but I will absolutely do a home inspection for t-shirt trade. And we soon discovered that Mark is the male version of me. 100% honesty, 15% awkwardness, 5% charm. I don't know exactly how those percentages add up because I've been drinking a lot.
It just means you're 120% of a human. That's pretty cool.
Right.
And if we've got extra t-shirts lying around, can we call Mark?
Yeah, totally. But you guys need to transform into the cute girls.
Okay.
It is a challenge.
Well,
but watch RuPaul's Drag Race.
This shirt is all I got.
There are kids on there. So there are amazing transformations to be made. I would love to see you guys try those.
Speaking of amazing transformations, how about this for a transition? So let's talk a little bit more about you. We're here to talk about the Here for Good campaign, but before we can really get to that, who are you? What do you do? How did you get here?
So I'm a self-described human tornado. So I'm a marketing person with tons of ideas. Tiny Little Monster was started about 10 years ago in my basement because I was obsessed with ranking on Google for things, but I was doing web design. So if you rank on Google for web design, it's very hard because there are nerds out there that are nerdier than me that understand algorithms. So I was getting very frustrated because there's no way my graphic design, web design business could rank on the first page of Google. However, I could rank on the first page of Google for custom t-shirts St. Louis. So I was working on a website for a company that makes home-based screen print equipment. I put into Google t-shirt printing St. Louis. I saw a bunch of DIY sites because screen printers are notoriously cheap in DIY. And I saw that none of those sites had been properly formulated for SEO. So I said to my partner, Jenny, who has a degree in printmaking and who loves me and champions all my ideas, I said, what if we bought screen printing equipment, put it in our basement. You print shirts. I sell the orders. I make you a website. We're on the first page of Google. And she said, yeah, sounds good. Do it. We will call it Tiny Little Monster. And I said, are you sure? Because that's weird. And she said, yeah, it's cool. And I said, fine. And Tiny Little Monster started ranking on the first page of Google because I knew how to do that, because I'm a human tornado. So then we had people coming to our house and then driving away as I ran after them going, no, I'm a real person. I'm not a shitty home-based business. And then I said to Jenny, we need to find a storefront and it needs to be on a major street. So I needed to be 1,000 square feet. I needed to be on Manchester Road, and I needed to be less than $1,000 a month. And she said, good luck. We went by, we drove our car, and I saw for rent. And I said, I'm calling that place. And she said, good luck. I called and I said, how many square feet are you? 1,000. How much are you? 1,000. I said, perfect. Jenny, there is a business that we will rent. It is 1,000 square feet. It's $1,000 that fits all the parameters. It's on Manchester Road. Let's go. And she said, fine. And then we had a storefront in Maplewood for 5 years because we did not know how to run a t-shirt company. And that is not the ideal situation for a t-shirt company. However, that's a very good location for a grassroots company because people then want to support this very small little business. So we outgrew the space. We rented a production space in Maplewood for 3 years. And then 2 years ago, we were able to purchase a 5,000 square foot manufacturing facility that's half office, half production space. And we closed the storefront out of my frustration. One day I said, I just want to close the storefront. And then I went, oh, that felt good. What is that? And then I was like, I think we should close the storefront. And we started running our numbers and we saw that while our sales were increasing by 20%, our sales at the storefront were decreasing by 20%, which told me our business, we've actually established ourselves and our business is going more online and email. And that the staff at my store, despite their best intentions, do not know how to sell products like I do. But if I'm at the store all day handling people coming in for one shirt orders, then I cannot sell the bigger orders, which actually help us grow. So we pivoted, we closed the storefront, we moved more into the fundraising, working with nonprofits, and taking on some really big, ambitious projects. So we became a place that did fulfillment for web stores, and we work with Midwest Transplant Network, and they do a huge annual project. And then we also work with local nonprofits. So we work with a lot of feel-good, community-focused, socially progressive stuff. And then when our industry sort of bit the dust, because we do shirts for human interaction, I've actually been working at coming up with ideas because I'm an idea machine. So I work at coming up with at least 10 ideas a day. So I knew that it would be community focused because community focused shirts are hot. I originally thought Here for Good Maplewood because I live in Maplewood. And then I went, well, Here for Good, that's a double entendre, right? So it's we're here for good and these businesses are here for good. We could just apply this to everyone and do a mass fundraiser and support all the local businesses because the rug was really pulled out from all of us, but Tiny still has this little boat that's afloat that can raise money through fundraiser web stores where we don't actually have to produce anything because we're taking pre-orders for sales that support local business and we're sending money to those businesses every week.
And that's Here for Good.
And that's Here for Good. And then I also realized it worked and my whole industry was in a pickle. And I shared it with my entire industry. And now it's in at least 40 states. We've raised over $1 million nationwide. It's in 4 countries. One of those countries is Canada. I don't know if you count that, but it's in Europe, which is actually not a country, it's a continent. And it's also in Australia. So I don't know what countries have done it, but it's huge. It's wonderful. And people want to know how much has been raised. And I don't know. I just know a shit ton of money has been raised. Pardon my French.
So I was marketing this as a local St. Louis thing,
Right.
and what you're saying is it's a local St. Louis thing, but it's also a local California thing, and it's also a local everywhere thing.
Yeah, and that all came from this guy, Sloan Coleman, and my amazing team at Tiny Little Monster, because I have a freaking heart of gold, and I love businesses. I love small businesses. So anytime you travel with me, I'm like anti-chain, and my older friends think I'm amazing, but it's just Yelp, you guys. It's just Yelp. So one of my
Yes.
tips for having local print shops is I just say go on Yelp and see who's hot in your neighborhood, because they're also probably who's hot on Instagram, because right now media is all dictated by social media, right? So
Absolutely.
it's not the AAA in the phone book that it was when I was growing up. It's not even the ad in the phone book that it was growing up. It's Yelp, it's Google, it's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's Twitter, it's all of those things. So you can really create marketing through those channels, but to do that, you have to have a solid brand, and you have to have integrity, and you have to have authenticity, because that's what those social media channels love.
No, absolutely. I am so happy to hear you plug the whole let's use Yelp while we're on vacation, because we're the same exact way.
Right.
No reason not to find that local flavor, find something that's different, that's off the map. I mean,
better.
we don't even exactly. We don't even need to chain restaurants in St. Louis. I mean, we got such a great scene in St. Louis. Why would we do that to ourselves?
Well, and St. Louis I'm gonna have a refill, because why
No, why
not?
don't-
It's
ahead.
Friday, right, guys? It's
Sure.
not Tuesday
Sure.
afternoon.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's like,
Not in
happy
this
hour.
environment.
Did we lose? No, we did not. Did we not lose the live? That's amazing.
So I don't
No.
have to drive anywhere.
All right.
So Sloan, with all these companies you're helping locally, who are some of the companies? And obviously we're going to feel bad because somebody's going to get left out. We know it's going to happen. But
Sure.
who are some of the awesome companies that you guys have partnered with for the
So,
Here for Good campaign?
The most special story to me is Crow's Nest, and I'll tell you why.
Oh.
So Crow's Nest and we both share an employee. And so Tiny Little Monster, we cut hours because we saw this coming, because orders were being canceled left and right. We normally do about $4,000 a day. On the Tuesday before the stay home order, we did $7.50.
Oof.
Yeah, that's not enough. Like, we have 14 staff members. So we said to employees, we're going to cut hours to 32 hours a week, work one day less. And our employee, John, said, that's no problem. I work at Crow's Nest. I'll just pick up shifts there. Well, Crow's Nest also closed. So Crow's Nest is our #1 seller for Here for Good. I'm not actually involved in the numbers. I'm more of the chaos agent. But I believe that we've raised close to like $2,500 or $3,000 for Crow's Nest, because they're our #1 seller. And Crow's Nest was able to give money back to their employees. And same with Tiny Little Monster. So every time you bought a Crow's Nest shirt, they would send money to employees, or they would buy them groceries with their grocery account, which goes much further than a personal account. And Tiny Little Monster sent money to our employees. If you bought a Tiny Little Monster t-shirt, you're not actually supporting me, which people thought, oh, I love Sloan, I'll buy a Tiny Little Monster shirt and support Sloan. Well, we just gave that all to our employees, because we're actually really like wanting to make sure that they were taken care of, because some of them didn't know how to fill out unemployment. There's also just a lot of unemployment issues at that office for being overloaded. So having that money sent out weekly ensured that they had some income to at least buy like ramen and bananas or whatever they needed to have sustenance.
So I got to ask, what is on the Crow's Nest t-shirt?
So Crow's Nest t-shirt is a brilliant design. So they have a fantastic marketing campaign that's like, see what 1 star, see what everyone's complaining about on Yelp. They actually don't have a 1-star review because they're awesome. But it's a brilliant campaign. So they did a closed nest shirt with dead eyes for the crow. And they're working on their second design because they are part of our phase 2. So phase 2, we took the top 20% of the 256 businesses participating in Here for Good, because that was just not sustainable from a logistical standpoint. As much as we would love to support 256 businesses all year round, we now have 6,500 t-shirts to print with 256 different pieces of artwork.
Oof.
And I have a 25% of my staff back.
That is a logistical challenge.
It is a logistical challenge, but I have a logistical superhero in my very silent partner, J Bear Monster, who is my partner in life and dime. And they are handling this. So I get to be home, do the marketing. They gave me permission to be the face and voice of Tiny Little Monster, which I've always wanted, but I've always been like hesitant to encroach too much because Jenny, she actually owns Tiny Little Monster because I never like wanted to be part of the paperwork because I'm terrible with paperwork. So Jenny owns Tiny Little Monster. I am the spouse of Jenny. And people think I own it, but no, Jenny owns it. But I'm married to her, so I get half, I guess. If it all goes to shit.
So what are you guys doing in terms of, obviously you've got a lot of interest, a lot of overflow here. Is there any other additional channels that these people can reach out to?
So definitely ordering custom orders is good. I'm talking about us being like overwhelmed, but still orders, we can still do orders. So orders are our bread and butter. Human interaction was basically canceled for 2020. It was supposed to be a great year for us. Email your custom orders to tiny@tinylittlemonster.com. We can't do the super micro orders right now. So usually we say no order is too tiny or too monstrous, but some orders are literally too tiny for us right now, just because our staff is very concerned with what's going on, and rightfully so. So we don't want to bring them in to print one shirt. But if you have a custom order of like 12 shirts or more, please reach out. We can make that happen. We really need that. And then the way that we're pivoting is fundraiser stores, obvi. And then also we're going to be doing custom masks, and we're also going to be getting blank masks out to people. And I have blank masks to get out to people, but I've been really, I won't say overwhelmed because I love it, but I've been so focused on Here for Good and raising money for funds that the masks are sort of on the back burner. So I have masks that I'm going to offer to the participants of Here for Good. As we reopen, those businesses can use those reusable masks. If I would open them up to the public, they would be gone so fast. So I think having them for the service workers and the business owners that need multiple masks, and they're just t-shirt masks. I have one right here, I'll put it on. What's really weird to me is that this face right now, oh, I gotta cover my nose hole. So this is a less scary face than a nude face. And that's very strange because I look like a ninja. But when I'm going to Deerbirds, I'm actually very concerned with this face. So I had 10 of these masks in my pocket yesterday, and I went to Deerbirds. And I think like 30% of people had masks on. And I was offering masks to people that didn't have them. And they were like, didn't want to deal with me because I'm a weirdo. I was talking about awkwardness, and I'm like, do you want a mask? And they're like, too eager. So I get that. I think I have a sweet face, but in desperate times, it goes weird. So if somebody is like, do you want a mask? You're like, no, fuck off. I don't want a mask from you. Where have you been? Sorry if there's kids watching.
We don't really appeal to the kid audience, I don't think.
Yeah, the vibe. I know. I'm on my second drink, and I think I'm making these like doubles or triples. So
how do people help? Because you got a lot going on, right? And you can only do so much on your own. And I would imagine that if somebody is watching right now, if they made it through our whiskey banter and that just riveting mortgage forbearance talk that I gave, if you made it past that and you're still watching, then you probably are watching because you really want to help. And so what can people do? So Sean called out the contact information. How do we place orders? What else do you need?
So I think it's just go to tinylittlemonster.com, go for the Here for Good fundraiser, then just share the shirt that you want to buy. Even if you can't buy it, share the businesses that have shirts for sale. So right now we've got about 20 shirts for sale from different businesses. We're working every day to get more businesses or nonprofits added. We're working with businesses to actually do what we call as like a buddy up program. So like we're working on with Adam's Smokehouse. Every shirt that you buy from Adam's Smokehouse is
Love
in a
their
meal
shirt.
for healthcare workers.
Their shirt is great. It's Mike. If you
Yeah,
haven't seen it, it's got a hog on the front of it, and it
right,
says "Meet MEAT, meet me in St. Louis."
right.
So it's
Nice.
great shirt.
Yeah, and that was a top seller for
Love it.
Tiny Little Monster for years, which is very odd because Jenny and I are both plant-based people. We don't eat a lot of meat. But I love puns. So like my love of puns goes over my love of plant-based, and that's a hard thing for me. But that's where
It's a
I'm
high
at.
hurdle.
I'm a dad joke person. But then I also reached out to St. Louis Veg Girls, St. Louis Plant-Based Center, and I'm trying to make a plant-based similar thing for her so she can provide plant-based meals to healthcare workers. We're working with Gift a Meal. We're
Nice.
in talks with so many other places, and there's more places that want to get involved than what I can reach out to on a day-to-day basis, because I'm also like in the process of I'm sharing it with screen printers worldwide. I'm doing local media. I'm also having to manage a team that is scared by COVID, rightfully so. I am also onboarding new customers. I'm also rolling out an artist series. I have a lot on my plate. I'm working about 16-hour work days, but I feel so satisfied and invigorated. And what's really funny is we have this artist series, and I'm trying to get female artists involved. And female artists are they don't like who I am right now, but male artists love it. So female artists are going, have you slept? Are you doing self-care? Have you taken like a bath with Epsom salts and lavender oil? Are you drinking tea? Have you been doing your 30 minutes of yoga? And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing all of that. I'm very interested in self-care. Check, check, check. Doing all of it. Slept 8 hours a night, have my Fitbit tracking it. But the male artists are like, love it. Like they're like sending me multiple designs. And it's just funny because I'm very repellent to female artist energy right now. And we're doing this artist series, and we're a female owned print shop. And I would love to have more female artists, but they do not like me right now. So I'm using the language that speaks to males, because I'm like, let's get a shirt, let's make tons of money, let's rule. And then the women are like, can we take a break and talk about it and have some
So
tea?
if you're a female artist watching this right now, get over the energy and let's get rolling. That's your
because
message.
I'm super pumped. I have amazing artists. I have AIGA, I have legendary artists that have done artwork for bands like Mudhoney, like serious artists, like amazing artists are involved in this. They will blow your mind.
Sloan, I gotta say that was a complete Gen X reference there with.
Oh my gosh. You guys would not believe what's coming for the artist series. But I need some female artists to step up and not be intimidated by my super aggressive energy right now. And I'm using language that I actually hate as a designer, where I'm like, let's make tons of money, let's go for it, because that's not what the female voice wants to hear. They want to hear let's do good. I know what I need to say, but I'm so excited. Guys, I'm a super sports fan. So I love LeBron James. I love basketball. I love competing. I love sports. I'm very competitive. The females they like me right now, but the males,
they're not feeling your vibe.
are really badass and cool. So it's very challenging because right now I have 6 male artists and 1 female artist. And we're a female-owned print shop. We have lots of females. We have some males, and we love our males. We are not a man-hating print shop. But the females are more concerned with my well-being and mine and Jenny's relationship. And they want me to take a nap. And Actually, if I take a nap, I come back with even more. I mean, this is like, I'm on my 4th whiskey right now. So this level of energy is pretty intense.
Have you seen the show Drunk History?
I love the show Drunk History. One of my favorite shows.
we need to do a spin-off podcast called Drunk Future.
Right.
Where we don't talk about the past. We don't drink and talk about the past. We drink and talk about the future.
I hope that I don't get,
because that's where we're going right now.
Puking on camera, drunk. But Jen Kirkman, first season of Drunk History is legendary. And if I stop being able to feel my face, I know I've gone too far.
We're not supposed to touch your face anyway, so don't worry about that.
Right.
So
it feels very sinful though, and I touch my face a lot, but I'm in the privacy of my own home. Oh my gosh.
Well, neither is inaccurate. Sean, do we have any? I've been kind of in and out of the comments. Do we have any questions for Sloan?
Sloan's actually answered pretty much every question on her own. She's been on point.
Perfect.
I'm very intuitive.
She's done this before. I can tell you've done this before.
Well, I love being on podcasts. It's true. I love bourbon. I'm starting my own podcast. It's called Air Carrots. It's not happened yet, but I can tell you about it. Okay, so Air Carrots is Air Carrots. So I bought the domain aircarrots.com. The domain is now valued at $1,200. It was valued at $19.99. So I've done something right. So Air Carrots is whenever someone says something and you go, oop, Air Carrot, I'm going to use that later. So as an entrepreneur, my business coach gives me a lot of Air Carrots. So she'll be like, what sucks about web stores? Oh, business coach is Christy Maxfield, Purpose First Advisors. Absolutely love her. Became a little bit obsessed with her for a minute, but I think we're okay now. So she'll say, what is it that sucks about web stores? And I'm like, well, I make it so complex and I offer all the variety and I want to make it so good for them. And I care so much about people liking me. And she's like, okay, we'll come back to that. And then I'm like, Air Carrot. So Jen and I always come back to Christy after 2 weeks and be like, so we did this, this, and this based on your discussion, because we're very DIY. We're lesbians, so we're very project-based. And Christy's like, you guys are amazing. Let's talk about this. And the way that she guides us is Air Carrots, which is basically like making it feel like your idea, even though it's her idea. Sometimes
like Inception.
Sometimes she'll just sledgehammer us. Like she'll be like, your customer service people are not salespeople. And I go, oh, sledgehammer, got it. My customer service people are not salespeople. I am a salesperson because I believe 110% about branding. My customer service people actually care so much about customers that they will literally say, why would you buy stickers from us when you can get them so much cheaper from X, Y, and Z? And then I say, why are you telling someone that goes into a local restaurant to get a burger from McDonald's? Why are you doing that? Wouldn't you feel so rude if you were a waiter that came into the Royale and said, can I get an Impossible Burger? And you go, why don't you just go to Burger King and get that for $3.99? Because that's what you're doing right now.
Fair point.
And they're going, I didn't even know I was doing that. And I was like, isn't that person kind of a dick? Like that waiter? And they go, yeah, that person is kind of a dick. And I was like, yeah, you're not allowed to do sales anymore. I'm doing sales because people want to.
So that's when the sledgehammer comes in and she tells you that you're on the wrong path.
Your service people and your marketing people are not your salespeople. Sloan, you are a salesperson because you know the products and you know why they should support local and why they should get a better product. And I go, 100% I do. Why am I trying to do web stores? I suck at web stores. I'm a human tornado. I make a goddamn mess out of web stores. And she goes,
fair enough. You got to know your role.
And then I go, Air Carrot.
Highest and best use.
And then I go, I'm making a podcast called Air Carrots because that's catchy as hell. And I even made a logo. And I think my logo is badass because it's very sports. It's very me. And my friend goes, I don't like Air Carrots because I hate it. I hate that analogy. And I said, fair enough. Why do you hate that? And she said, because carrots are making animals do things that they don't want to do. And I said, but it's an air carrot. It's not a real carrot. And I'm plant-based, and I'm trying to get people to do what I want them to do. Because I think so many artists and creatives, they lack that confidence. They lack that desire to go for it. And I want to be rich so I can have an amazing pool party with ridiculous floaties shaped like hot dogs and donuts, vegan hot dogs and donuts, naturally. But I want to be like the Elton John of small business owners and just have a killer party and have like Bikini Kill or Latigre come play and have Basil Hayden's or whatever female-owned freaking bourbon place there is. I don't even know them, so tweet at me.
Republic Restoratives.
Okay, I want to have Republic Restoratives come and do a live tasting.
Fantastic.
Right.
DC-based, completely woman-owned distillery. Fantastic.
And I want to start like a gluten-free, vegan like brewery, but not even talk about it, but just have it be badass, women-owned, cool.
Okay.
And like
that's a very laser focused career path there. So I appreciate that.
Right. It's so niche. It's so niche. Like Andrew Chow will love it. Okay. He's a secret hipster just like me.
He is. That's a good shout out that you just gave there. So we have just to recap, because we covered a lot right there. The Here for Good campaign lives on your Tiny Little Monster website.
It does. So you go to
that's our access to it.
Then you go to Here for Good, shop Here for Good. It will be on Here for Good STL. It's just not right now because I'm trying to get that SEO traffic to my site.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Fair enough. Right.
Fair.
100% honest.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that. I can tell that about you. 100% honesty. I like that. Thank you for being on the podcast and for sharing the vision. Not only sharing Here for Good, but your own personal vision for the future of your business. I like that a lot.
Just touch my face. Sorry for everyone that offended.
You did. I'm not personally offended by that, but
I will wash my hands.
I do get a lot of instructions from a lot of other people on Facebook about what and what not to touch. So
no, I touch my hands too much. I try not to. But I'm just at home. I'm self-isolating. I think it's fine. I dipped it in bourbon. I think that kills all the germs. I will wash my hands.
There you go.
So I started this new thing last week where I just randomly completely called out Sean and asked him to tell me a random whiskey fact. So this time he prepared. So I'm going to turn it on you, Sloan. Can you tell me just a random fact about whiskey that I don't know?
Well, no, I probably can't because I think you're a whiskey guy. But
whiskey, I don't know a lot. I just like to drink it.
Well, I'm tempted to just read the back of this Basil
Hayden's.
That says,
did you know?
artfully aged in Kentucky hillside rack houses, then bottled a smooth 80 proof. Basil Hayden's sophisticated taste remains true to the old family recipe, all caps. With more rye than a traditional bourbon and its trademark spicy finish, it's easy to enjoy oh my gosh, Basil Hayden's. Okay, there's some drunk history realness. Basil Hayden, any way you like. So I don't know if you knew all that.
I didn't know any of it. I knew that it was a high rye bourbon because you have that spiciness to it, which I like. But yep. Sean, what's your fact? I know you prepared a fact for us this week. What do you got?
I did know you were going to call me out. So today's fact is there's actually a gentleman in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, who owns the Guinness Book of World Records most valuable whiskey collection. Now it's only 535 bottles. And it's valued at $13.9 million.
What?
Only
how do you drink
535 bottles at $13.9 million.
You're just like, how do you drink it?
You don't.
Yeah, but like, how do you drink? Literally, like, just drink money.
You don't.
You can't do it. That's why I got to go for this mid-range.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah,
exactly.
Accessible.
It's so good.
Accessible.
It's so good, guys. Basil Hayden's, it's all over Kentucky. Missouri people, they're not quite hip to it. But I drink a lot.
I like basil. Yeah, basil's a good.
You're a bourbon guy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. There are a lot of bourbon people out there now. Bourbon is really, I mean, they're literally making documentaries about this now,
Well,
like bourbon catching on
I
and really growing in popularity.
I told the Bourbon Missouri Society last night on Instagram to reach out because I was like, you know what? I'm going on this podcast. You guys would definitely kill it on this podcast. So you might.
I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So they might reach out because they're doing a Here for Good campaign with a different company than mine. And that's amazing because we actually reached out because I knew I couldn't serve all the St. Louis independent businesses. They need a fundraiser because let's face it, everyone needs a fundraiser right now. The world needs a fundraiser as our rug was pulled out from under our usual money-making things. So St. Louis Sportswear is working with St. Louis Bourbon Society for a t-shirt campaign. Why they didn't reach out to Tiny Little Monster? I don't know. I don't even care. I love bourbon, but they reached out to another company, and that is totally fine. So they might reach out to you, and that would be an amazing podcast, especially a follow-up to here.
That would be awesome.
So
appreciate the connection.
And I think your guys' artwork is super pro, so good job.
No, that was done in 30 seconds on Canva. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, so good. You guys are efficient.
The best looking thing on there was the profile pic that you gave me to add. So you have to take credit for
in
how
that picture. My staff said you look really cute in that picture, and I said I look very sweet and happy, and that is a little bit different than what I normally photograph as. But I guess I was really happy that day.
Fair enough. All right, we are running long on our time here. Any closing thoughts from either of you? I try to keep these under 45 minutes. That way, when somebody looks at it. Yeah, great job. Sloan, thank you for all.
I make every podcast I'm on long because I talk too dang much because I'm so excited about raising money for Here for Good STL. I have such passion. Shows. My father is a person that's a check writer, and he will write checks to the whole dang community before cashing a check for himself, and that has come through from me. My mother is a very strong, independent woman, and she has my back no matter what. I was raised as a feminist who believes in myself and my abilities, and thank you, parents.
Amen.
I think that they don't even know what to think of me at this point. So if you were concerned about me, that's fine. But no, I'm doing.
Well, cheers to them.
Good. Yeah, cheers to that.
They sound outstanding. It sounds like they had a great impact on you.
Oh my
Cheers
God.
to Sloan's mom and dad. If you're out there, if you're watching this, why? But also thank you.
They are incredible. My dad gave me so much confidence because whenever I was growing up, he was like, "You're the most beautiful girl in the world." When I was 12 years old, there was a boy staring at me, and I was like, "That's because I'm the most beautiful girl in the world." And then after class, he's like, "You have spinach in your teeth," and I was like, "Read the situation."
Those two things are not mutually exclusive, for the record.
And it's my confidence, but my embracing of my awkwardness that makes me 100% courage. So I know I make missteps, but I'm actually 100% okay with it. So I am the person that will offend you, and then I will charm you, and we will be friends at the end of the night. So that is me.
Perfect.
Well, I look forward to both.
Right.
That's great. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate Sloan's time. This was a incredible episode. If you guys want to do anything with Here for Good, just reach out via the website on Tiny Little Monsters. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole deal. You guys know the spiel. So cheers to you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Awesome.